The world runs on secrets and signals. We decode both. You're watching Next Level Studio. Imagine waking up and realizing you possess the world's third largest nuclear arsenal. Not just a few warheads, but enough apocalyptic power to rival the United States and Russia combined. This isn't a fictional thriller. This was Ukraine in 1991. But here's the unforgettable twist. They gave it all up. Voluntarily. They traded the ultimate deterrent for a piece of paper, a diplomatic promise written in ink. Could Ukraine have avoided the conflict we see today if it had kept those nuclear weapons? Or would the world have simply been a much riskier nuclear-armed place? Stay with us as we uncover this forgotten chapter of history, where a nation traded survival for sovereignty, and the price was steep. Hit the subscribe button now, because you won't believe how easily this fundamental promise was ultimately broken. The inheritance and the impossible choice. In the chaos of the Soviet Union's final collapse, the newly independent nation of Ukraine found itself an accidental nuclear superpower. Their inheritance, roughly 1,900 strategic warheads, along with the intercontinental ballistic missiles to launch them. The moment they gained their independence, Ukraine's new leaders faced an impossible, agonizing choice: maintain that arsenal and become an instant, nuclear-armed pariah state facing immense global pressure, or disarm and seek peace and Western cooperation. The arsenal's dark reality and the crushing cost this was not just a number on a ledger. This power was a physical, terrifying reality. 176 massive intercontinental ballistic missiles ICBMs housed in deep, hardened silos across the country, including the formidable SS-19 and the state-of-the-art SS-24 Scalpel. These missiles were designed to wipe out entire regions. Maintaining this massive, sophisticated force, safeguarding the warheads, keeping the complex missile systems operational, and paying the highly specialized personnel was not just a security burden, it was an economic black hole. Ukraine was a young nation struggling to establish its currency and government. The estimated annual cost of preserving this nuclear status was staggering, consuming up to a quarter of the entire national defense budget. The choice, therefore, was never simply power versus peace. It was absolute power versus solvency, and the global community was ready to capitalize on that desperation. The global panic and the hard bargain the world, and especially Washington, viewed Ukraine's nuclear status not as deterrence, but as a fuse waiting to be lit. The primary fear was nuclear proliferation, that an unstable Ukraine might lose control of the assets or, worse, sell the technology or materials on the black market to rogue actors. The US and the UK made it clear. Full diplomatic and financial integration with the West was contingent upon one non-negotiable condition: complete and verifiable denuclearization. This pressure was immense, combining carrots financial aid, political recognition with sticks potential isolation, sanctions. The negotiation began, centered on a simple, yet monumental trade: total nuclear disarmament in exchange for ironclad security assurances. Crucially, the U.S. provided significant financial assistance under the Nunn-Lugar Cooperative Threat Reduction Program to help safely dismantle the delivery systems, effectively paying for the surrender of power. This negotiation culminated in the Budapest Memorandum of 1994. In this formal, internationally recognized agreement, Ukraine agreed to hand over every single warhead to Russia for ultimate dismantlement. In return, three global superpowers, the United States, the United Kingdom, and Russia itself, formally promised three critical things. 1. To respect Ukraine's independence and sovereignty. 2. To respect Ukraine's existing borders. 3. To refrain from the threat or use of force against Ukraine. Here is the essential detail that haunts the story. The memorandum offered security assurances, not binding security guarantees like a NATO membership, which mandates a military response. It merely obligated the signatories to consult in case of aggression. Ukraine gave up the absolute guarantee of the bomb for a diplomatic promise to talk. On paper, it was hailed as a masterpiece of diplomacy, the unraveling and the lesson. But the wind quickly began to unravel. Fast forward just 20 years. In 2014, Russia, one of the three core guarantors of the memorandum, violated every single term of that agreement by annexing Crimea and launching military operations in eastern Ukraine. The ultimate power, the nuclear deterrent, had been willingly surrendered in exchange for a promise written on paper. And when that promise was tested by the very party meant to uphold it, the paper proved thin. The core question we started with becomes painfully clear. Did disarming make this conflict inevitable? The argument for keeping the arsenal is stark. No rational state attacks a nuclear state. Those weapons would have been the ultimate guarantee of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The counter-argument is equally sobering. Retaining them would have led to crushing sanctions, perpetual instability, and the constant, terrifying threat of nuclear confrontation, possibly triggering a new Cold War in Europe. Ukraine made a bet on diplomacy, on international law, and on the good faith of its allies. The ultimate lesson from the Budapest Memorandum isn't about the power of the weapons themselves, but about the fragility of trust in international agreements. It stands as a stark, tragic reminder. Sometimes, even the strongest, most consequential diplomatic agreements can't guarantee safety without trustworthy actors. Thanks for watching. Share this video and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more untold global stories only on Next Level Studio. This is Victor, signing off. See you again.